What's up guys, Logan here with Logan Built. Before we jump into today's video, just want to take a quick second and tell you guys about a cheap and easy upgrade to make your lives easier if you have a full manual valve body 46, 47, 48 transmission. These are my Logan Built shifter cable brackets. These bolt to an ear on the transmission itself, so that way they're not bolted to the pan. So when you go to drop the pan to service your transmission, you do not have to mess with your shifter cable linkage. You do not have to readjust it or anything like that. This harp-shaped design here is so that this bracket is reversible, so it can be used with PPP, B&M, and TCI front entrance shifter cables. And then if you have a rear entrance shifter cable, I also offer a bracket for that that also bolts to the rear ear on the transmission case and does the same thing that the front does, so you can service it without having to mess with your linkage at all. You can get both of these on the website, www.getloganbuilt.com, and we have these things in stock, ready to ship. Now, back to the video. What's up guys, back here at the house tonight to work on the fossil a little bit. Got a new set of injection lines from my friends over at Shy Diesel. Had these things custom made, specifically how I wanted them for a variety of reasons. So I am going to talk about some injection lines with you guys tonight and show you why I had these made the way that I had them made. So this is what I was running previously. Just a conventional set of 120 stainless injection lines. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this style at all. These things are awesome. Anytime you're doing injection lines, the more clamps, the better. So I liked how this had a six line clamp here. I liked how they clamped all these lines individually along the way. This was a really nice line setup. I actually had a really old line setup before this that was 3 individual front and rear. And I did like that for serviceability, for if you were at the track and you needed to say, you know, you broke a line, because these things do break, and you wanted to just change, say, the number 1 line. You didn't have to take the whole line set off. You could just take the front 3 off, throw an extra set of front 3 on, and go. This style here is a little bit more of, you're committed to taking all the lines off and swapping out which one you need, or having a whole set that's just like this. The two things that I personally don't like about any of the injection lines, and it's not anybody's fault, it's just by design, is in order to take this valve cover off, you have to pull all the injection lines off. Well, if you know much about 12 valves, you have one, you know that every time you take the injection lines off, you have to bleed this thing. So really kind of a time-consuming process if you're trying to do it at the track. Could be the difference between you making the next round or not. Say if you have to go in here and check a valve lash, or do a retorque, or anything that the valve cover has to come off for. The other problem that I was running into is I wanted to vent this thing in 2 vents out of the valve cover. I vent it out of the tappet cover, and I vent it from the rear of the valve cover there. But as you can see, the lines are in the way of that vent between 4 and 5. So I'd really like to have 2 vents going to my hood stack, and then I have a vent going back to a catch can. And that's kind of to let the engine get some fresh air, and I'm also kind of able to keep an eye on the ring life of it while still having the vacuum pull effect that venting the crankcase pressure out the exhaust gives me. So what I asked Jared Jones at Shide, because he's my boy, I said, hey Jared, I want to do this a little bit different, and kind of gave him my ideas of how I wanted to do it. And he was like, okay, you know, let's see what we can do. And on Monday, a week ago, I started talking to him about it. By Friday, they had the lines done and shipped out to me, which is crazy. For, you know, custom anything nowadays, you can't get made in a week. So I am going to throw these new lines on here, and then we will talk about them. These are pretty cool. All right, so we have installed these new crazy looking lines. Man, really awesome. They fit amazing. This truck is a little weird. It's like in between being like dummy low and like normal height. So like when you're trying to get to the back of anything on the firewall or the engine, it's like a stand is too tall, so you're kind of in there awkwardly. But if you don't have a stand, you're leaning over the grill too much, so it makes it a little bit awkward to work on. But these things fit great. Man, out of the box. All I did was went back and forth with Jared and Don in the line shop and basically went over, you know, hey, I've got this much clearance between here and there, and I sent them some videos and some measurements, and they nailed it. This fits awesome. So the why behind this, I went over a little bit before, but man, now I can take this valve cover off in between rounds, do whatever I need to do. I can run the engine with the valve cover off if I need to look, if I think I have some valve train issue or anything. It's just, there's endless reasons why this is going to be amazing to have. And honestly, it looks super clean too. So if you know about injection lines, you know that they all have to be equal length for all the timing to be correct. So that's why, you know, in the back we had to eat up some distance of line, because this is a pretty long set of lines to accomplish what we wanted to accomplish here. And with all of the lines having to be equal length, you end up with some area where, you know, you got to use up some line. So that's why, you know, they come down and over. That's why in the back here it's all twisted around, because they all have to remain equal length. So that's very challenging to do as it is. I am now tasked with making sure that these lines are very secure. Jared said these are jump rope lines, and he wants me to brace the crap out of them. So what I'll probably do in the front here is I'll probably do a brace. I'll move this line clamp over here. I'll do a brace off of the front timing cover over here. I'll probably build a brace off of the head right here. And then I might even build another brace down there. It just kind of depends on how strong it is when I get that done. And then I'll do a brace possibly off the injection pump. It's pretty strong through here. The main concern is between that bend and here. There's a nice little welded plate on my intake runner with some threaded holes, so I'll probably utilize that to make a clamp to tie the lines real good and solid back there. I'll probably use the back cap of the intake runner to do something to tie those lines together, and then I'll probably even use the rear exhaust manifold stud off to that mounting clamp there to make these things really, really rigid. Jared was very adamant about making sure that I really brace these. These are the longest set of lines that they've ever made, so a little bit of concern there, but you know, as long as we brace them really good, we shouldn't have any problems. JP actually brought it up to me that this will probably slow my timing down because these lines are about 12 inches longer than a normal set of injection lines, so it might slow my timing down a degree, maybe 2 degrees at the most. But I'm gonna run it first before I go bumping the timing up with it. I was running the timing at 38, somewhere between 38 and 39. I can't 100% remember because it's been so long ago, but 38 or 39 degrees of timing. So I wouldn't mind to go down 1 or 2 anyways. It might spool better, and we can always go up from there. So I'm gonna run it like it is first and see. But man, shout out to Shide on this. This is not a product review. This isn't something that somebody gave me for free and I have to make a video about it. This is just me being appreciative of the fact that you can call a business as big as Shide in 2022 and you can give them all these measurements and send them videos and a lot of communication back and forth, and they make you something custom in a week's time that fits out of the box. I mean, what more can you say about a company than that? So Don in the line room, thank you. Jared, thank you. And Dan, as always, thank you. And I appreciate you guys watching this one. Oh, one more thing. I gotta give you something helpful in this video. So when you're doing injection lines, mild steel or stainless, do not over tighten the actual line nuts. If you over tighten them, a lot of times what'll happen is the ferrule on the line, you'll crack it, and then you'll junk a brand new injection line. There is a torque spec on these, but trying to get a crow's foot in some of this stuff and a torque wrench, yeah, that's kind of a pain. What I do is I just tighten these things down just ever so slightly, and after I, bleed all the air out of the system, and then I'll run it, and if they're leaking, I'll just tighten it up a little bit more, and I'll basically just tighten them up until the leak goes away. And then once the leak goes away, it's good. You don't really need to tighten them anymore, and usually you don't ever even have to check them after that. So just don't over tighten injection lines, stainless or mild steel. So like always guys, I appreciate you watching, and we will catch you on the next one.